Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Main Street Moments podcast. This is Kathy.
And Brian.
And today we're going to talk about something that happened at Disney World a few days ago where a couple, I saw this on Twitter and I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, but maybe I have a sick sense of humor. A couple wore t-shirts, matching t-shirts kind of, and somebody took a picture and, put like a smiley face or something over their faces and took a picture, put it on Twitter, and people went absolutely nuts over these two t-shirts that were worn because they were a little sexually explicit, kind of. Kids would not understand. Kids would not look at that and know what it meant. But so people are demanding that these shirts get banned. These people should have been removed. So what I'm going to do is go over real quick with you the Disney dress code, and then I'll get into with these shirts. Disney does have a dress code. It says you have to have proper attire worn at all times, and they give you a list on their website of the kind of things that if you wear, they can refuse your entry or throw you out of the park. Clothing with objectionable material, including obscene language or graphics, excessively torn clothes, clothing that exposes excessive portions of the skin or inappropriate, clothing that touches or drags on the ground, clothing with multiple layers that is subject to search, objectionable tattoos. So those are the things. And then they have a whole other thing about costumes, but that's the basic dress code for Disney. And they should have a dress code. I agree with that. These two shirts that were worn, it was worn by a couple. And what it is the guy wore a t-shirt and it had the like Disney font with the letter D, right? And above it, it said, "I gave her the D." And it had the D like the Disney signature D. And then her shirt said, "I wanted the D." So that's kind of a sexually explicit joke. I don't think it's a big deal, but people were really, really outraged. Like I said, I don't think kids would even bother to read it. I mean, do kids even know? They're too busy noticing the characters in the park.
Yeah.
I mean, is this like much ado about nothing?
I have seen people wearing that shirt.
I think it's kind of funny.
I know. I've seen people wearing that shirt when I've been at the park, but
Really?
I've never noticed a couple together with it at the same time. But I have seen people with that shirt.
So maybe when it's together, it's more sexually suggestive than if somebody wore it separately on their own.
I saw a guy that was wearing it, and I didn't even think that much of it. I guess if I'd have seen him with the wife, I would have thought more of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. Disney is becoming a place for rules, and I know this is a common theme that we talk about because every time I go online, all I see is something else about some kind of rule at Disney. Now, I do understand that there has to be a dress code because, people have to be dressed decently. But I am so tired of rules being associated with Walt Disney World. It's getting to be a little too much.
Well, these t-shirts you can buy on Etsy or Amazon, and I think if anything, whoever sells these shirts is going to start making a fortune off this because
I think they'll start turning people away at the gate with them if they notice.
Well, that's what happens.
Now it's in the news.
Now that it's in the news and it's a big thing, now the workers are going to be aware of it, and they might go and ask their supervisor, "What should I do if I see this shirt?" Disney has not commented on it. The New York Post did an article on it, and they reached out to Disney. They have not commented on it. I haven't heard any stories of people being thrown out of the park. Now, the t-shirts are regular t-shirts. They're not too tight. They're not showing too much skin. It's like a regular t-shirt. But like I said, I think if somebody wears it separately, it's not as sexually suggestive. I mean, maybe it's up for interpretation. I don't think it's offensive to kids because I think most kids just would have no clue what it meant. And I don't think they even bother to read people's t-shirts.
Yeah.
When you go to Disney, it's so crowded, first of all, and everybody, I would say 90% of the people, maybe 80% of the people are wearing a Disney type t-shirt. When you say either one they have or one they bought there.
Yeah.
So I do notice the t-shirts there. I look at sometimes and notice, especially if you have a group of people wearing the same shirt. That's really noticeable. The same color, the same shirt. I'll notice it. If it's like an event like Halloween or Christmas, I like to look at the t-shirts people have. If I saw this shirt, I would probably chuckle, but I wouldn't go demand that they get removed, and I wouldn't demand that Disney block them from coming in. I mean, I just think it's absurd.
Well, if you go back and watch, because I know a lot of you have done this because of the 50th anniversary, if you go back and watch the footage that you see on YouTube from around the time Disney opened in the early 1970s, in that period, people dressed up to go to Walt Disney World.
That's true.
Now, a lot of times you'll see people wearing pants, and it's Florida. You don't necessarily know in these old 35 millimeters that have been transferred to YouTube what time of year it is.
True.
But even in the wintertime, you'll go to Disney and people are wearing shorts and T-shirts today, except on like really cold days with rain.
Yeah, because you get people from up north, and for them, 60 degrees is like a day at the beach. But for Floridians, it's like freezing cold.
But it's amazing to me how dressed up people used to get at Walt Disney World when I watch these old videos. And today, things are a lot more casual than they used to be.
Well, Florida is a very casual place. I don't know how it is at Disneyland. So if you guys let us know at Disneyland if people, and I don't mean people dressing up in cosplay or dressing up as if their favorite character. I mean just regular dress. Do people dress up to go to the park? Here, it's hot, and Florida is very casual. People wear shorts and flip-flops to church a lot of times. I mean, we're Catholic, and we've been to church where a priest many times would say, you guys are dressing not appropriately. People are dressing too casual. That's just how it is in Florida. And it's hot. If it's 100 degrees, you're not going to wear dressy, But I agree. When Disney first opened, it was more of an event to go. And it seemed like people, maybe it was just the type of clothes that people took a little more care. And now T-shirts are really big. They're really huge. There's so many T-shirts being sold on Etsy. I mean, it's crazy, on Amazon. And people love to wear the T-shirts with something on it that expresses their feelings. Well, I think these shirts are kind of funny.
A lot of it is with the we're talking about like in the olden days in the 70s, in the early days of Disney. When back in those days, Disney World didn't have as many locals in it. It was more of people that came from out of state. And back in that period,
I don't think they had annual passes.
They may. I don't know if they had annual passes.
Not till like the late 80s.
But people would travel to Florida more. I know people still travel to Florida to go to Disney. But when you traveled by plane back in the 70s and even in the 80s, people got dressed up. Now today, people don't get as dressed up on planes. So maybe that's why there was just a different standard in dress between now and then. But
I think there was a different standard with people.
Yeah. But this shirt here, I did see a guy wearing that shirt. It is a very strange shirt. And this story that's in the news about the couple wearing this, although most children would not get that, certainly teenagers would start to get it.
Teenagers might.
And I don't know. I don't know if it's not something I would wear.
No, we wouldn't.
It's a little inappropriate.
Wear those.
Yeah.
But is it worth throwing them out of the park or banning them from coming in? Do you really think it's that offensive? I don't think there's nothing visually disturbing about it. There's nothing that where you look at it, you'd be like, there's a naked lady or two people doing something. There's nothing like visually disturbing.
The one thing I wish people would refrain from, though, and I don't want any more rules at Disney, and this is actually, as crazy as this sounds, this is a rule at Disney, but I hear a lot of profanity. I hear a lot of F-bombs, especially, of course, at Epcot where everyone's there seems to be a lot of profanity I'm hearing around Walt Disney World. I would rather people refrain, because the kids know what that is. I'd rather them refrain from the profanity.
Well, they might have some kind of rule regarding that. I'm not 100% sure on that. I have to look into that.
Yeah, they do have profanity rules.
Yeah, I would think they would. I mean,
not that they necessarily enforce them, but they can.
They have like a code of conduct, I'm sure. And I know they have a code of conduct in regards to how the cast members are treated and how you behave. And I have no problem with that. I think that they have to have some kind of standards. But, if they're going to be worried about somebody wearing a T-shirt like this, then maybe they should worry about picking up the garbage in Tomorrowland that's piled under all the benches.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Disney needs to raise their standards a little bit and present a park that looks pristine no matter what. I mean, back in the day, we've said this a million times. Brian and I I've been going to Disney since the 70s. And let me tell you something. The park was so clean, you could literally probably eat off the ground and be okay. It was
not that I would do that.
Not that I would, but it was absolutely spotless. And the last few times I've been to the park, I see trash. I see a lot of janitors or whatever they call them. What do they call those?
The custodians.
Custodians. I see them painting a lot on the ground, and that's fun and that's cute. But I saw one guy painting Donald Duck, and there was a big pile of garbage 5 feet away from him, and then he just walked away. So Disney, if you want to have standards set on people, that's totally fine, but raise your standards too. But I want to know what you guys think. I got the picture of this shirt in the thumbnail, and apparently this was a huge deal on Twitter. Like people were demanding Disney do something about this, and Disney hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah. Now, this past weekend, I went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Orlando, and I got in all 10 houses, all 10 haunted houses, which was amazing because I had the express pass, went with our daughter and some other family members. We all had express passes. And those of you that go to Halloween Horror Nights, I don't know why anyone bothers going to Halloween Horror Nights without an express pass, because some of these haunted houses are 90-minute, 2-hour waits. You don't.
What was your favorite house? What were some of the houses?
It's hard to say this year what my favorite house was. I liked the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. That was pretty scary.
That is one of the scariest movies.
That was
ever
pretty
made.
Scary. But it was.
Did they have Leatherface running around?
Oh yeah, many times.
What was the house like? Was it like his house?
It was like a town and a house. It was everything. Gosh. It was pretty scary. But one thing about Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios that was absolutely amazing is that we did not have to wear masks at any point in time, including in the houses. And at Walt Disney World, you've got to wear masks anytime you're inside, which includes the monorail.
Did they have plexiglass in the houses?
They didn't have plexiglass,
actors?
But the one thing that kind of spoiled it a little bit with the houses is they don't have plexiglass, but they have kind of like that rubbery plastic, clear plastic that you can move.
Yeah.
They had that over all the spots where the characters jump out at you.
So they did have like a barrier.
So the problem is you see that, it tips you off that something's coming up.
That's true.
It makes it a little less scary. But
that's true.
Universal, we were there about an hour before they opened up the park, right? So I wanted to be right in the beginning when the gate opened. They had us packed in like sardines. I've not been so close to strangers in like 2 years because of COVID. And no mask, which is cool. I brought a mask and had it in my pocket just in case they required it in the houses because I wasn't 100%.
And you've been vaccinated, by the way.
Yeah, I have.
We've all been vaccinated in our family.
Been vaccinated. And I don't think I would have enjoyed it if I had to wear a mask inside. And Disney needs to lift this mask stuff. They have people packed in these houses. Halloween Horror Nights, even inside the houses, was just as packed as before COVID. And Disney's got you wearing masks anytime you're indoors. It's enough. Like mask on, mask off, mask on, mask off.
I agree. And
you can't breathe.
They have people at Disney packed, and this is going to lead into the next topic, like at the fireworks shows and everything like that. And you're actually more distanced on a ride because you're in your own little vehicle. And I don't know, are they wiping down the vehicles? I mean, how far are they taking this? If you wear a mask, that's great, but are they cleaning every vehicle after somebody leaves? If not, then what's the point? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is this article somebody wrote on Insider or Business Insider, I think Insider publication, and it said, I skip the fireworks show every time I'm at Disney World's Magic Kingdom, and here's why. So these are the reasons they skip the fireworks show. Brian and I usually skip the fireworks show, but a lot of people don't, and I want to know what you guys do. And he says here, I always skip the fireworks show at Disney World's Magic Kingdom, and you should too. The crowds create a cramped, hostile environment. Hostile. You know, I remember watching Resort TV 1, and Josh got into some kind of little scuffle, not like a scuffle, but a little argument with somebody.
A war of words.
War of words with somebody, I think, watching fireworks. So the crowds create a cramped, hostile environment, and the show is almost always the same. Well, it is always the same once they get it set. Plus, you can go on any ride while the show is playing because there are no lines.
That's true.
Very true.
That is very true.
And that is the main reason we do not watch the fireworks, because when the fireworks are on, you can pretty much go on any ride and wait 10 minutes or less.
That's the best time to ride mine.
It is the best time to ride any ride. Yeah. So my tip is when you're at the park, when the fireworks show begins, like an hour before, half hour before, start heading over to the rides that are really hard to get on. But there's one thing you won't catch me enjoying at the Disney park, the fireworks show. And he says here, let's see. I want to get into the reasons. It says about 2 hours before the show starts, park goers head to the castle to pick their spot, which is true. This leads to two main problems. First, the center of the park becomes very crowded. That is so true. Like when people start lining up for the fireworks or heading over there, the hub, it is absolutely packed. You cannot, and you can't get through that area. You can't, like when you're walking from Adventureland to Tomorrowland, you need to go around the back way if it's like 2 hours before a show, because you are not going to get through that easily. It's difficult to get to the castle, difficult to get to Main Street. As everyone flocks to one small section of Magic Kingdom, everyone starts packing closer and closer together. Second, people become very territorial. Some start lining up hours early to get a good spot. So when others come in and try to grab a spot just minutes before the show, tensions rise. I've witnessed countless people bicker and even fight during the show because they can't see or because they think someone stole their place.
Well, and another,
do you guys think the fireworks shows are kind of ridiculous?
And another problem is people line up, and then like right as the show's about to begin, 6 other people from their group that weren't waiting line up.
That's what they're talking about. They show up,
and they want you to get pushed out of the way to make room for these people that have not been there for the whole time. It's pretty annoying. And
people really love the fireworks shows, and there's a lot of live streamers and vloggers that vlog it or live stream. It's super, and they get a lot of views, especially if it's like a new thing or a special event. They're very, very popular. I like the fireworks, but I don't like the crowd, and I don't like being on Main Street during the fireworks show.
I'll give you guys the best tip on how to watch the fireworks. I got this from Justin Scard. And if you don't know Justin Scard, look him up on YouTube. And the best place, I'm sure you all know Justin Scard, but if you don't, look him up. The best place to watch the fireworks at the Magic Kingdom is not facing the castle, but actually behind the castle. Behind the castle in Fantasyland. And when you're behind the castle in Fantasyland, you're actually kind of surrounded by fireworks. You have fireworks coming from every direction, and you're in the center of the. I shouldn't even tell people about this because there's no crowd behind the castle at Fantasyland.
No, it's a great place to watch the fireworks.
Now there's no curbs to sit on, and you don't have to wait for hours and until now. Maybe if a lot of people hear this, and it is absolutely amazing to watch the fireworks. I don't enjoy the fireworks from the front of the castle mainly because you're too packed in with everyone, and it's too hot, and it's too uncomfortable, it's too annoying, and there's always somebody that gets in front of me that I can't see, or just like this article says. But if you want to see the fireworks from a really unique perspective, go behind the castle. It's the best part of the park to see the fireworks in.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a good tip. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you guys watch the fireworks, or is it like I've seen it once, once is enough? There's people that go that live nearby that go to Disney all the time, and they watch the fireworks every chance they get. I mean, I would think it would get a little old, but I mean, the rides are the same. You go on a ride over and over again. And I do like fireworks, but again, I don't like the crowd on Main Street. And I take advantage of that time because let me tell you, the 2 hours involved, like the hour before the fireworks and actually during the show and after, that is the best time to go on rides because typically when the fireworks show ends, that massive group of people leaves the park because the show might start at 8 o'clock and it might end at 8:30 and then everybody leaves.
Yeah.
And the park might be open until 10 o'clock. Yeah. So that time from 7 p.m. until close, that 3 or 4 hour window is really one of the best times to be at the park because you can pretty much do every ride for very minimal wait time.
Or the best time to leave the park is right before the fireworks because
that's true.
After the fireworks are over, there's a mass exodus.
Huge line at the monorail.
It takes forever. One time I went to the park and I'd gotten this idea, which was actually a pretty good idea, but it took longer than I expected to be in the park after it's closed. And when the park closes, you can stay on Main Street all the way up to the hub for quite a long time.
It's pretty cool.
And I had this idea. I made a vlog on this that's on our channel. I did this 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. And it's really cool. You can still do this. after everyone clears out on Main Street, you have that whole area to yourself, and there's maybe a dozen people there.
Now everything's closed, but the lights are on, the music's playing.
The music's playing, the lights are on Main Street. They do dim the lights in the hub, but you can walk up to the entrances of the land. It's cool. But to do that, I had to be at the park before it closed, and I sat down in front of the confectionery, and it took like 2 hours
for the park to clear.
For everyone to clear out, and it was just a massive, thick crowd the whole time. How many people are – now, this was before COVID, but how many people are packed in here? And it's
a lot.
It's a really fun experience if you can wait that long.
And we have not been to the park yet to experience the Lightning Lane or Disney Genie Plus. That is coming soon with a new vlog, but I'm really curious for you guys to let us know what you think of this new system.
Well, let me tell you.
What have your experiences been?
Now, let me tell you about this. Obviously, I'm going to go and vlog the Lightning Lane and all these new nickel and diming scams that Disney has running. The reason I have not gone yet, because I know people have been vlogging it. I want to wait until the bugs are worked out. They've had some bugs with it. It's been a little buggy. I've even heard of people getting refunds, in the park. So when I get up there, I want it to be like after the bugs have been worked out. And I want to, and I was thinking about this, what I'm curious about is when someone goes to the park and does this. See, one thing that I forget, and a lot of everyone who's a vlogger is an annual pass holder.
Pretty much, I would say.
And when you're an annual pass holder, I forget how much it costs to get into the park. So I'm curious what the average family would spend just on the gate ticket and these passes for the ride. And I'm very curious to see what they charge as the day goes on for different rides and everything's worked out. But I think it's outrageous that what they're doing. It's outrageous what Disney World is doing, and they should be ashamed of themselves. And
the prices do fluctuate. Now, I think the Genie Plus is pretty steady at $15 a person per day per park, but the Lightning Lane definitely fluctuates. The Rise of the Resistance continues to be the top price, but just like the reservation system, they sell out of things by a certain time and you can't get on at all.
Yeah.
They sell out of Lightning Lane windows. So that's the problem. Now you can wait in a regular line now, which is good. Somebody had left a message on YouTube for us. Can I just wait in line and not buy? I said, yeah, you can definitely still wait in line and
all day
and wait. It depends though. I think with the Genie Plus and the Lightning Lane, the regular line might not be so bad. Maybe when you go up there next time, you could try a regular line without and see what on a popular ride, because everybody's filtering into the other lanes. So I'm curious to know what your experiences are with that. If it's a good system for you or if it's just too much money. Did it really alleviate a lot of your time? People go to the park and they want to rush through and see everything they possibly can see.
When I was at Halloween Horror Nights, I went to Islands of Adventure during the day, and then I went to Halloween Horror Nights, which is at the other side, at the Universal Park. I've not been to Universal Studios in a long time. I've not been to Universal Studios in a couple of years.
Yeah, since before COVID.
And we used to have annual passes for Universal Studios, but really didn't go enough to justify them. But I got to tell you, Universal Studios treat you so much better
That's what people
than
saying.
Disney. They really do. And I don't really ride roller coasters. Our daughter does. So when
she went on the new Velociraptor.
She went on Velociraptor.
She loved it.
I waited in line for the Velociraptor. I didn't
Emily
go on
said
it.
it's the most intense ride she's ever been on.
And she rides anything. Yeah. But they treat you so well
like what they do
at Universal Studios. They just, first off, you don't have to wear masks inside. That's a big one, and their prices are not outrageous. Now, I bought their version of the Fast Pass for the haunted houses. They call it Express Pass. And I don't mind that. It's fair. It's fair. I think their pricing's fair for what they offer. And I buy the Express Passes sometimes, but they have two different types for Halloween Horror Nights. They have two different types of Express Passes. One, and both passes, you get to go in every haunted house without waiting in the regular line. They have one where you get to go into each house once, which is what we got. And then they have an unlimited where you can go into each house as many times as you want.
Wow.
But to me, it took all night to get all 10, so I wasn't really interested in going in them more than once anyway. Once you go in the house, you know where all the scares are. It's not as much fun. I've been in houses multiple times before, and it's not as fun the second time. So I wouldn't recommend that one. They just are nicer, and they have fewer rules. And everybody, is at Halloween Horror Nights. It's more of an adult event than young kids. So it's adults. There's a lot of drinking going on. Mm-hmm. Everyone's calm, cool, relaxed,
except for that fight that somebody recorded.
Well, they did have that fight. Now that didn't happen when I was there.
That happens though.
But I just find that Disney is taking the guest for granted.
A lot of people think
just
that.
Taking us for granted.
And with Universal, when you guys were up there, you had to go back to the hotel to do some work. I mean, Brian even works on vacation.
Yeah.
And Emily was in the park, and she said to me, I want to get an express pass because I'm waiting in line, and the lines are a little long. It's like 90 minutes, and she only had like 3 hours at the park.
Yeah.
So she got an express pass, and she was able to go, and it was $110. She was able to go on every ride at Islands of Adventure as a walk-on. And I felt it was worth it because there was no reservation system. When you buy the Universal, now it's a lot more money. And I think the way Disney looks at it is people are paying $110 at Universal. They don't have to pay as much to go on our rides. Well, it might add up to that. And with Universal, there's no reservation system. There's no running out of like Rise of the Resistance spots. You buy the express pass, it's a one and done, and you walk onto everything. If Disney did something like that, I think it might end up being a little more money, but it would certainly be less aggravation because you don't have to constantly be in the app and be worrying about, okay, I finished this ride, so now I can reserve the next ride. And okay, my window for this is 4:00, but it's only 1:00. So what am I going to do for the next 3 hours? Disney is making it too complicated. They should sell a single express type pass, like Universal, whatever. They charge $100, whatever. It's a little expensive, but there's no reservations you have to worry about. I don't know why Disney's so into
and I'll tell
reserving
you,
everything.
A thing too is when we go
control freaks
at Universal Studios, you can get the pass and the tickets on your phone, but you can also get a paper ticket. And I get a lanyard,
right?
And a lot of people, you have to do everything on your phone, right? Everything's done on your phone. When I was at Halloween Horror Nights over the weekend, my phone was dead. I wouldn't if my phone goes dead,
right?
What, I got to go buy a fuel rod? You know
exactly.
what I mean? I mean,
they want you in your phone.
It's too much.
Seems the whole time.
I don't want to be there making plans. So when I get the express pass at Universal Studios, I got it. I don't have to. Okay, do I need a pass for this ride?
Right.
And all this.
You don't
nonsense.
have to reserve.
Yeah.
And you don't have to plan your day. Right, you could be at the park, say 12:00, and then you want to get on a ride like Slinky Dog or Mine Train, and you might book a lightning lane. You choose that option, but your window's not till 4. Okay, so now you have to work around your schedule, readjust things. So you're like, okay, I got to make sure I get on this ride at 4:00. So I have 3-hour window. So do I just go use my Genie Plus and worry about reserving this now? I mean, it's just a lot of aggravation.
I feel like Disney is just trolling us. I feel like they're just trolling us and they're just aggravating us.
I think they want to control every aspect of the park. They want to know where you are, how long you're going to be there. And I think that they are using this app to completely control people's vacations. And they do it for purposes of controlling personnel, controlling how you spend your money. And I really, there's a reason behind all of this. And they probably have these highly paid mathematicians and statisticians that are dealing with this and manipulating this app. But there's a reason they want to reserve everything and control everything instead of just selling one express pass for the day where you can just walk on whatever ride you want, like at Universal. You got to get into the phone and make a reservation and plan everything. And a lot of people are not going to the parks because of this. It's too aggravating for them. They're like, I don't want to spend my whole day in my phone scheduling my vacation. Some people love it, but a lot of people don't. Anyway, guys, tell us what you think. I'm really curious about your thoughts about these t-shirts. I'm going to put the picture in the thumbnail. Tell us what you think. I think like I said, maybe I have a weird sense of humor. I think they're funny. I don't think they're so offensive that they should not be at the park. I mean, who cares? But do you disagree with me? Do you feel that they should not be allowed?
And what the shirt
people
said
should be removed?
Is the woman is wearing the shirt that says "I wanted the D," and the man is wearing a shirt that says "I gave her the D,"
and the D is
which
like
means I paid for it.
Well,
Exactly.
no. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's what it means.
Multiple things,
but it means the D is like the D from Disney, so it has more. People say a bit of a sexual connotation to it. So anyway, interested to see.
That never even occurred to me.
You're smirking right now, so I know.
Can you explain it to us?
No, that's okay. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you at the parks.